The worst part wasn't discovering they'd sold my car. It was hearing my mother-in-law's smug voice in the background, declaring that a wife should be home anyway. That's when something inside me snapped. I'm Ella, and until last Tuesday, I thought I had a normal marriage. Not perfect, but normal. I was wrong. I'd spent months preparing for the marketing conference in New York, knowing it could lead to a promotion. My husband Caesar had seemed supportive, even helping me pack the night before. "You've got this, babe," he'd said, kissing me goodbye at 4 a.m. as I left for my flight. The conference was going brilliantly. I just finished my presentation on digital marketing trends when my phone buzzed with 3 missed calls from Penny, my next-door neighbour. Then came the voicemail that changed everything. "Hey Ella, sorry to bother you, but there's a tow truck in your driveway. They're hooking up your Mazda. I thought maybe you knew about it, but wanted to check." My stomach dropped. I rushed out of the conference room, nearly knocking over a chair in my hurry to call Caesar. He picked up on the 4th ring. "Hey babe, what's up? Why is there a tow truck taking my car?" A pause. Then, with casual indifference that made my blood boil. "Oh yeah, Mom found a buyer. Got a pretty good price too." "You... what?" My voice came out as a whisper. "That's my car. I paid for it. It's in my name." "Well, you're my wife, so technically nothing. You can't sell something you don't own." That's when I heard her voice in the background. Olive, my mother-in-law, speaking loud enough to ensure I'd hear. "Tell her she doesn't need it. A wife should be home anyway." "Babe," Caesar continued, his tone patronising, "Mum thinks it's better this way. Plus, I really needed a new gaming setup and—" "You sold my car for gaming equipment?" The words came out eerily calm. "Not just that. Look, we can talk when you get back. Mum's making dinner and—" I hung up. My hands were shaking, but my mind was crystal clear. 5 years of marriage, and I'd been blind to so many red flags. The way he always consulted his mother before making decisions. How she'd slowly tried to isolate me from my friends. The comments about proper wives and family traditions. My phone buzzed again. Penny calling back. "Ella? They just left with your car. I took photos and got the tow company's name. Something felt off." "Thank you, Penny." My voice was steady now. "Could you send me those photos?" "Already did. Email and text. The guy who bought it was here too. Some teenager with his dad. They seemed pretty pleased with themselves." I opened my email. There it was. My silver Mazda being towed away. My car. The one I'd bought myself after 3 years of saving. The one that was still legally in my name. Another call came in. Caesar again. I declined it. "Penny, one more thing. Did you happen to get any video?" "Actually, yes. My doorbell camera caught the whole thing. Want me to send that too?" "Please. And Penny, keep the footage. I might need it." I ended the call and opened my laptop. First stop, police department website, then my bank's fraud department. Finally, a text to my sister Zoe. "Remember my friend Faith who became a PI? I need her number, now." My phone kept buzzing with texts from Caesar. "Don't be mad. Mum says you're overreacting. Call me back. The gaming setup is amazing, BTW." I silenced my phone and looked out the hotel window at the New York skyline. They thought they had me trapped. They thought I'd come home, throw a fit, and eventually accept it like a good wife should. They had no idea what was coming. I opened my notes app and started typing. Step 1. File police report for stolen vehicle. Step 2. Contact bank fraud department. Step 3. Document everything. My hands had stopped shaking. The initial shock was wearing off, replaced by something colder, more focused. They wanted to play games. Fine. But they were about to learn that I wasn't the helpless little wife they thought I was. I whispered to myself, "They think I'm trapped. I'll show them how wrong they are." My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Zoe with Faith's number. Perfect. Time to get to work. The hotel Wi-Fi was painfully slow, but I didn't care. I spent the next hour pulling up every document I had. The car title, insurance papers, bank statements. Thank God I'd kept digital copies of everything. Faith picked up on the first ring. "Ella, it's been forever. I need your help." I explained the situation. "They did what?" Faith's voice went from friendly to professional in an instant. "Send me everything you have. And Ella, don't delete any texts or emails from them. Evidence is crucial. While Faith got to work, I called the police department. After 2 transfers, I reached Detective Moises. "Ma'am, if what you're saying is accurate, this is grand theft auto," he said, his voice steady and reassuring. "Your husband cannot legally sell a vehicle that's solely in your name. I have all the documentation." "Email it over. Include any communications about the sale. We'll start investigating immediately." I forwarded everything, including Penny's photos and video. Then came a text from Caesar that made me laugh out loud. "Hey babe, forgot to mention, need you to sign some papers when you get back. Backdated stuff for the car, no big deal." I screenshot it and sent it to both Faith and Detective Moises. My phone rang again. Faith. "Ella, remember when you mentioned the joint checking account? The one Caesar insisted we needed?" "Yeah. I just did a preliminary search. They've been busy while you're away. There are some interesting transfers." My hands clenched into fists. "How interesting?" "Try 5,000 to a gaming store yesterday. Another 2,000 to your mother-in-law's account this morning." The memory hit me like a truck. 3 months ago, sitting at our kitchen table, Cesar pleading his case. "Come on, babe. All married couples have joint accounts. Mum says it's weird that we don't." I'd refused at first, but he'd worn me down. "Just for household expenses," he'd promised. "We'll keep our personal accounts separate." Faith's voice brought me back. "Ella, there's more. They tried to access your personal savings account too. 3 failed attempts." "How do you know all this?" "Let's just say I have friends at the bank. Speaking of which, you should call them. Now." I did. The fraud department representative, Sarah, was horrifyingly helpful. "Yes, we see the attempts. They tried using your husband's power of attorney, which we have no record of you granting. Because I never did." "That's what I thought. I'm flagging your accounts now. No changes or transfers without in-person verification." My phone buzzed. Detective Moises again. "Ms. Ella, we've located your vehicle. It's still at the buyer's residence. We can recover it today if you'd like." "Please." "One more thing. The sale paperwork? Your signature was forged. Rather poorly, I might add. Would you like to press charges?" I thought about Caesar and Olive, probably celebrating their victory right now. "Absolutely." Another call beeped in. Faith again. "Remember how I said there was more? I think you'll want to see what else they've sold." "What do you mean?" "Your jewelry box? The one with your grandmother's pieces? Check your security cameras from last week." I pulled up the app on my phone. There it was. Olive letting herself in with the spare key, heading straight upstairs. Coming down with my jewelry box. "She said she was keeping it safe in her vault," I whispered. "That it wasn't secure in my dresser." "Well, 3 pieces matching your grandmother's description were sold to a pawn shop 2 days ago. Want me to get the footage?" I closed my eyes, remembering my grandmother's words when she gave me those pieces. "For your future, dear. For when you need strength." "Get everything, Faith. Every receipt, every video, every transaction. Already on it." "Oh, and Ella? Your mother-in-law's hosting Sunday dinner this weekend. All the family will be there. Might be a good time for, say, the police to deliver some paperwork." For the first time since this started, I smiled. "They're having meatloaf and lies this Sunday. I'll bring justice for dessert." "That's my girl. I'll keep digging." I hung up and looked at my reflection in the hotel window. The woman staring back wasn't a victim. She was a hunter. My phone buzzed one last time. Olive calling. I let it ring. Let them think I was crying in my hotel room, devastated and powerless. Let them enjoy their little victory. Sunday was only 4 days away. Faith met me at the airport Wednesday night, her dark hair pulled back in a no-nonsense bun, tablet in hand. "Ready to see what they've been up to while you've been gone?" I nodded, gripping my carry-on. "Take me home." "Actually," Faith said, leading me to her car. "We're going to my office first. You need to see this with a clear head." Her office was a converted industrial space, all exposed brick and security cameras. On her desk, 3 monitors displayed different angles of my house's security footage. "Watch this," Faith said, hitting play. The footage showed Olive entering my house multiple times over the past week. Each visit, she left with something different. My jewelry box, photo albums, even my mother's vintage tea set. All safely stored in her vault, I'm sure, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Faith pulled up another window. Here's where it gets interesting. These are pawn shop receipts from the last 3 days. My grandmother's emerald necklace, my mother's pearl earrings, all sold for a fraction of their worth. But here's the real kicker, Faith continued, switching to a document scan. Look at the car sale paperwork. See that signature? I leaned in. There was my supposed signature, but something was off. That's not even close to how I write my name. Exactly. They used an online signature generator. Amateur hour. Faith pulled up more documents. They also tried to transfer your personal savings using a fake power of attorney document. The bank caught it, but still. My phone buzzed. Cesar calling again. I'd been ignoring him since New York, letting him stew. This time I answered. Babe, finally, look, I know you're upset. Where's my grandmother's necklace, Cesar? Silence. Then, Mum said it was safer in her vault or at Happy Pete's pawn shop on 5th Street? More silence. The police have the pawn shop footage, by the way. Clear view of your mother selling my inherited jewellery. That's theft, Caesar. Felony theft. You're being dramatic, he sputtered. Mum was just trying to... Help? Like how you helped by selling my car? That gaming setup is an investment. I could become a professional streamer. Faith, who had been recording the call, rolled her eyes. Sunday dinner is still on, right? I asked, my voice honey-sweet. Yeah. Mum's making her famous meatloaf. You should come, we can talk this out. Oh, I'll be there, in spirit. I hung up. Faith was already typing. Police are set for Sunday. They'll arrive at 6:30, right in the middle of dinner. My sister Zoe burst through the office door, carrying takeout bags. Got your text? Brought reinforcements, Thai food and wine. As we ate, Faith pulled up more footage. Your neighbour Penny's been amazing, by the way. Her security cameras caught everything, including this gem. The video showed Caesar and Olive in my driveway, arguing with the tow truck driver. No, my wife's fine with it, Caesar was saying. She's just out of town. Can't reach her right now. And you're sure you have authorization to sell this vehicle? The driver asked. Olive stepped in, all maternal authority. Of course. A wife's property belongs to the family. Now let's get this done before it gets dark. Zoe nearly choked on her pad thai. Oh my God, they're not even good at being criminals. That's not all, Faith said, pulling up bank statements. Guess what they did with the car money? Besides the gaming setup, I asked. Caesar paid off his secret credit card, the one with $8,000 in gambling debt, and Olive used her share for a down payment on a new Mercedes. While selling my grandmother's jewellery for pocket change, I whispered. Zoe grabbed my hand. You okay? I squeezed back. Better than okay. I'm ready. Faith nodded approvingly. Police will bring the fraud unit. They'll want to search the house for the remaining stolen items. During Sunday dinner, Zoe grinned, with the whole family watching. Speaking of watching, Faith said, pulling up one final document, I installed new security cameras in your house this morning. High definition, with audio. We'll be able to see everything. I looked at the footage of my living room, where Caesar was sprawled on the couch, gaming headset on, surrounded by empty energy drink cans. They're having meatloaf and lies this Sunday, I said, raising my wine glass. I'll bring justice for dessert. Zoe clinked her glass against mine. To karma. Faith joined the toast. To consequences. I smiled, watching Cesar on the screen, completely oblivious to what was coming. To Sunday dinner. Thursday morning, Zoe called with news that made my coffee go cold. You need to check your credit report. Now. I pulled it up while she waited on the line. Oh my God. You see it? 3 credit cards I'd never applied for, all maxed out. Store cards from gaming retailers, electronics shops, and one from a luxury watch boutique, all opened in the past 2 months. He used my social security number, I said, my voice shaking with rage. My identity. Keep scrolling, Zoe said grimly. There it was, a loan application for $50,000, submitted yesterday. Status, pending. I called the bank immediately, putting them on speaker so Zoe could hear. Yes, Ms. Ella, the fraud representative said. "We've flagged suspicious activity. The loan application was submitted with your information, but the funds were set to deposit into a different account." "Let me guess. A joint account?" "No, actually, an account under Olive's name." I laughed, but there was no humour in it. Of course. Faith arrived an hour later with more revelations. "Your car money? Only half went to gaming equipment. Want to know where the rest went?" She spread bank statements across my kitchen table. The trail was clear. Payments to online gambling sites, transfers to Olive's account, and a $5,000 deposit on a luxury watch. "He's been planning this," Faith said, pointing to dates. "The credit cards were opened right after you booked your New York trip. They thought you'd be too busy with the conference to notice." My phone buzzed. A text from Cesar. "Miss you, babe. Can't wait for you to see my new streaming setup." Another buzz. Olive this time. "Dear, we need to discuss your attitude about the car. Sunday dinner would be perfect. Family helps family." I showed the text to Faith, who snapped photos for evidence. "Speaking of family," she said, "guess who I ran into? Your husband's cousin Gus." "The accountant?" "He's been helping Cesar manage his finances. Well, mismanage them. But Gus didn't know about the identity theft or the car sale. He's not happy." I met with my lawyer that afternoon. Sandra listened to everything, taking detailed notes. Identity theft, grand theft auto, forged documents, she listed, tapping her pen, plus the stolen jewellery and unauthorized bank access attempts. "We have more than enough for criminal charges." "And divorce? With this evidence, you'll get everything. But first," she smiled, "let's let Sunday play out." Back home, I found more texts from Cesar. "Got my first subscriber on Twitch. Mum says you're being childish about the car." "BTW. Where's the password to your savings account?" I showed Faith, who was setting up additional cameras in my house. "Look at this," she said, pointing to her tablet. "Your mother-in-law's been busy on Facebook, posting about ungrateful modern wives and how family comes first. The comments are interesting." The posts were filled with sympathetic responses from her friends, all condemning the selfish wife who wouldn't support her husband's dreams. "Let them talk," I said, watching Faith adjust a camera. "Sunday will give them something new to gossip about." Detective Moises called to confirm the plan. "We'll arrive at 6:30 p.m. sharp. Fraud unit will accompany us. Do you want to be present?" "No," I said, thinking of Olive's smug face. "I want to watch it all unfold from here." That night I stayed at Zoe's place, unable to sleep in my own bed, knowing what Cesar had done. We watched the security feed on her laptop. Cesar was on his new gaming chair, headset on, yelling at his screen. No, you noob! That's not how you— Mum, yeah, come in." Olive entered, carrying Tupperware. "Just bringing dinner since your wife's too busy to cook. Did you get those papers signed?" "Not yet. She's being difficult." "Well, Sunday will fix that, once the family talks sense into her." Olive patted his shoulder. "Your father was the same way with me at first, but I showed him how a proper family works." I closed the laptop, feeling sick. "You okay?" Zoe asked. "I will be. After Sunday." My phone lit up. Detective Moises. "Fraud unit confirmed. Warrant secured. Sunday is go." I texted back. "Perfect." Zoe hugged me. "You know what they say about revenge being best served cold? Yeah? Well, it goes great with meatloaf." I smiled, thinking of the cameras recording every moment, the police preparing their warrants, and the family gathering that would turn their perfect Sunday dinner into a feast of consequences. "Let the snake relax in warm sunlight," I whispered, before I cut off the head. Sunday, 6:15 p.m. Faith, Zoe and I sat huddled around multiple screens in Faith's office, watching the security feeds from Olive's house. The dinner party was in full swing. "More meatloaf, Cesar?" Olive's voice came through crystal clear on our newly installed cameras. "Thanks, Mum. Best meatloaf ever." Cesar lounged in his chair, wearing his new luxury watch, bought with my stolen identity. The dining room was packed. Olive had invited the whole family, probably hoping to stage an intervention about my attitude. Gus sat quietly in the corner, picking at his food. He'd been avoiding eye contact with everyone since learning the truth about the car sale. Shame Ella couldn't make it, Olive announced loudly. But sometimes we need to show tough love to those who don't understand family values. Several relatives nodded in agreement. Speaking of Ella, Caesar's aunt piped up. Where's that beautiful emerald necklace she always wore? The family heirloom? Olive coughed. Oh, she decided to sell it. You know how young people are these days, no appreciation for tradition. Zoe gripped my hand hard. 6:25, she whispered. 5 more minutes. On screen, Cesar was bragging about his streaming channel. Already got 15 subscribers. Mum's right. Selling that car was the best decision ever. Ella will thank me later. Did she sign those papers yet? Someone asked. Not yet, but... The doorbell rang. 6:30 p.m. exactly. I'll get it, Olive said, smoothing her dress as she walked to the door. The camera caught her face perfectly as she opened it to find Detective Moises and 4 other officers. Good evening, Ma'am. I'm Detective Moises. We have a warrant to search these premises and discuss some serious allegations. Olive's face went from welcoming to panic in seconds. There must be some mistake. No mistake, Ma'am. We're investigating multiple counts of grand theft auto, identity theft, and fraud. Please step aside. The dining room erupted in confused chatter as officers entered. Cesar jumped up, his new watch glinting under the chandelier lights. What's going on? Mum? Detective Moises held up a document. Mr. Cesar, we have a warrant to seize several items purchased with fraudulent credit cards and stolen funds, including that watch you're wearing. But that's my property. Actually, another officer said. It was purchased with Ms. Ella's stolen identity, as was most of your gaming equipment. The family sat in stunned silence as officers began photographing serial numbers on Caesar's gaming setup. This is ridiculous. Olive stood up, face red. We're having a family dinner? Perfect timing then, Detective Moises said calmly. We can discuss the stolen jewellery too. Specifically, the emerald necklace you sold at Happy Pete's pawn shop. Aunt Marie gasped. Olive, you said Ella sold it. I was protecting it. By selling it? Gus spoke up finally. Like how you protected her car by selling it without permission. The officers continued their work methodically, documenting everything. Cesar kept looking between his mother and the police, like a child caught in a lie. Mum, what do they mean about credit cards? Don't say anything, Olive hissed. They're just trying to intimidate us. Family protects family. Family doesn't steal from family, Gus countered. I saw the fraud alerts, Olive. The forged documents. This is serious. On our screens, we watched as officers began disconnecting Caesar's gaming equipment. He lunged forward. You can't take that. I'm a streamer now. I have followers. Sir, Detective Moises said firmly, please step back or we'll add resisting to the charges. Olive tried one last time. This is all a misunderstanding. Ella's just being dramatic. Mrs. Olive, Detective Moises cut in. We have video evidence of you selling stolen property, bank records of fraudulent transactions, and documented identity theft. Would you like to make a statement now, or wait for your lawyer? The colour drained from her face. In Faith's office, Zoe squeezed my hand. Look at their faces. They never thought they'd face consequences. We watched as officers boxed up the gaming equipment, took statements from shocked family members, and handed Cesar and Olive preliminary court summons. One more thing, Detective Moises announced to the silent room. Ms. Ella wants you to know that she hopes the meatloaf was worth it. Caesar's head snapped up. She planned this? No, Detective Moises replied. You planned this when you decided to steal from your wife. She just made sure you faced the consequences. As the police finished their work, Aunt Marie's voice cut through the chaos. Well, I guess this Sunday dinner will be one for the family history books. I couldn't help but smile. Oh, it's not over yet. Wait until they check their phones tomorrow. Faith raised an eyebrow. What happens tomorrow? The security footage goes public. Let's see how Olive's Facebook friends react to that. By Monday morning, Penny's TikTok of the police raid had over 200,000 views. Rich mother-in-law sells DIL's car for son's gaming setup. Instant karma. The comments were ruthless. Did they really think they'd get away with this? Mother-in-law from hell! Queen behaviour serving that karma, Faith called at 8 a.m. Have you seen Twitter? I was already looking at it. And Sunday dinner karma was trending locally. Someone had compiled all the security footage, Olive stealing my jewellery, Caesar bragging about his gaming setup, the police arrival, into a viral thread. My phone rang again. Caesar, you vindictive but... Good morning to you too, I cut him off. How's the streaming career going? They took everything. Do you know how much that setup cost? Actually, I do. It cost exactly 1 silver Mazda, 3 pieces of my grandmother's jewellery, and whatever dignity you had left. Mum's devastated. Her friends are all talking about it. Funny how consequences work, isn't it? A text from Zoe popped up. OMG, turn on local news now. I switched on the TV. There it was. Footage from Sunday dinner, with the headline, Local Family's Sunday Dinner, Interrupted by Fraud Investigation. You recorded everything. Cesar was still yelling. The family dinner. Our private conversations. Private? Like when you and your mother planned to steal my car, or when you committed identity theft. That's different. I'm your husband. Not for long. The doorbell rang. Faith stood there with coffee and a tablet. You're going to want to see this. She pulled up Olive's Facebook page. Her family values post from last week was flooded with new comments. Is stealing jewellery a family value? My son needs a gaming PC. Can I sell your car? Guess Sunday dinner's served cold now. My phone buzzed with a text from Detective Moises. Olive's requesting a meeting. Says she wants to explain her side. Tell her to explain it to her lawyer, I texted back. Faith was scrolling through more reactions. Look at this. 3 other women have come forward with similar stories about Olive. Apparently, this isn't her first time protecting family assets. Another call. Gus this time. Ella? I'm so sorry. I had no idea about the identity theft. I just saw the credit card statements today. What did you find? They've been planning this for months. Olive has a whole folder of forged documents. Not just yours. Other family members too. My lawyer called next. The DA's office is very interested in this case, especially with the new victims coming forward. They're offering a plea deal. What kind? Restitution, probation, and mandatory financial counselling. Plus, Olive would be banned from handling any family member's finances. Faith looked up from her tablet. Speaking of finances, the pawn shop owner saw the news. He wants to return your grandmother's jewellery. Says he had no idea it was stolen. My phone kept buzzing with notifications. The story was everywhere now, spreading through local Facebook groups and neighbourhood apps. Penny called. Ella, you might want to check your front door. I opened it to find a small package. Inside was my mother's tea set, the one Olive had stored for safekeeping. A note was attached. Found this at Mum's house. I'm sorry. Gus. Another text from Caesar. This is humiliating. My streaming followers are all unfollowing me. All 15 of them, I replied. Faith showed me more comments pouring in. Justice served at Sunday dinner. Mother-in-law thought she was untouchable. This is better than any reality TV show. The local news was still running the story, now with additional details about the identity theft and stolen jewellery. They'd interviewed Detective Moises, who professionally outlined the charges without naming names, but everyone knew. My phone rang again. Olive this time. I answered on speaker. Ella, we need to talk. This has gotten out of hand. Like selling my car got out of hand, or stealing my jewellery. I was protecting the family. No, you were protecting yourself. How's that working out? People are calling me a thief. If the stolen jewellery fits... I hung up as another text came through from an unknown number. Thank you for exposing them. I'm Caesar's ex-girlfriend. They did something similar to me 2 years ago. Never thought they'd face consequences. Faith looked at me. You okay? I showed her my phone's wallpaper, a photo of my new car parked safely in my garage. Never better. The meatloaf was worth it then. Oh yes, I smiled. But the justice? That was priceless. Tuesday morning, Gus asked to meet at a coffee shop downtown. He arrived carrying a thick manila folder, looking nervous. There's something you need to know, he said, sliding into the booth. This isn't the first time Olive's done this. Not even close. He opened the folder, spreading out documents across the table. Bank statements, property records, old court filings. Remember Caesar's brother Marcus? His ex-wife Julia. The one who abandoned the family? I made air quotes. She didn't abandon anyone. Olive and Marcus did to her exactly what they tried to do to you. Sold her car, emptied her accounts, forged documents. But Julia didn't have the evidence you do. My coffee went cold as Gus laid out the pattern. 3 daughters-in-law before me, all systematically stripped of their assets, all pushed out of the family. Olive calls it testing loyalty, Gus explained. If you accept it, you're family. If you fight back, you're the enemy. Exactly. But here's where it gets worse. He pulled out more papers. Olive's been running this scheme with her church friends too. They target independent women, especially ones with assets. Faith arrived just then, right on cue. She'd been recording everything. Got it all, she said, checking her device. This matches what Julia told me yesterday. You found her? Gus asked. I'm a PI. I find people. Faith pulled out her tablet. Julia sent over her old records. Between her case and the others, we're looking at a pattern spanning 15 years. My phone buzzed. Detective Moises. DA wants to meet, bringing additional charges based on new evidence. The coffee shop door chimed. Caesar walked in, spotted us, and froze. Gus, what are you doing with her? The right thing, Gus said, not looking up. Finally, Caesar approached our table, trying to look intimidating, despite his wrinkled t-shirt and unwashed hair. So this is where the traitors meet? Traitors? I laughed. That's rich coming from someone who stole his wife's identity. I didn't steal anything. Mum said, I mocked. Do you ever think for yourself? You don't understand our family. No, I understand perfectly. I gestured to the documents. Just like Julia understood, and Sarah, and Maria, all the women your mother destroyed. His face went pale. How do you know those names? The same way the DA knows them now. He grabbed for the papers, but Faith was faster, sliding them into her bag. Don't, she warned. These are evidence now. Caesar's phone buzzed. His face went even whiter as he read the message. Mum's being charged with what? Organised fraud, Gus said quietly. Among other things. But she was protecting us. By stealing from our wives, by destroying their lives. Gus stood up. Wake up, Caesar. She's not protecting anyone but herself. My lawyer called just then. Ella? Judge signed the emergency order. Olive's assets are frozen. I put the phone on speaker, just as Caesar's phone buzzed again. Mum says her cards aren't working, he said, panic rising in his voice. What did you do? The law did it, my lawyer's voice came through clearly. The court doesn't look kindly on organised fraud rings. Caesar stumbled backward. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. Funny, I said. That's exactly what Julia said when you and your mother sold her car. He ran out of the coffee shop just as Detective Moises walked in. Perfect timing, Faith said. We were just discussing the pattern of fraud. The DA's very interested in that pattern, Moises said, sitting down. Especially the church connection. Seems Olive had quite the operation going. My phone lit up with a news alert. Local woman charged in multi-year fraud scheme. Multiple victims coming forward. They're calling it the Sunday dinner scam, Moises added. The DA loves that angle. Gus pushed forward one last document. A bank statement showing transfers from Olive's account to various offshore locations. This is where the real money went, he said. Not just cars and gaming setups. She's been building a nest egg with everything she stole. Had been, Moises corrected. Those accounts are frozen now too. I thought about Julia, about all the women before me who'd lost everything to Olive's family values. The court hearings tomorrow? I asked. Moises nodded. 10 a.m. All victims are invited to testify. Good, I said, gathering my things. Because I have a few things to say about Sunday dinner. Faith smiled. Save some room for dessert. I hear karma's extra sweet in a courtroom. The courtroom fell silent as the judge adjusted her glasses. Behind me sat Julia, Sarah, and Maria, all of Olive's previous victims. Caesar slouched in the back row, looking lost without his gaming headset. Mrs. Olive, the judge began, the evidence presented here shows a disturbing pattern of systematic fraud and exploitation. Olive, wearing her best church clothes, tried to interrupt. Your Honor, I was protecting my family by stealing from them. The judge's voice cracked like a whip. By destroying the lives of multiple women. By orchestrating an organized fraud ring through your church group. I watched Olive's carefully constructed mask crack. No more smug smiles about family values now. The court finds the defendant guilty on all counts, the judge continued. Fraud, theft, identity theft, and organizing a criminal enterprise. A small gasp from the gallery. Olive's church friends, watching their ringleader fall. Furthermore, the judge added, restitution will be paid to all victims from the seized offshore accounts. Mrs. Olive will serve 3 years under house arrest, followed by 7 years of probation. She is permanently banned from handling financial matters for any family member or church associate. Olive crumpled in her seat. Her lawyer whispered something, but she just shook her head. The judge turned to Caesar. As for you, Mr. Caesar, 6 months house arrest, mandatory financial counselling, and full restitution to your wife. The identity theft charges alone could have meant jail time. Consider yourself fortunate. I stood to deliver my victim impact statement, looking directly at Olive. You didn't just steal our possessions. You stole our trust, our security, our belief in family. You called it protecting the family while destroying lives. Well, guess what? We're stronger now. We found each other. We built a new family, one based on truth, not manipulation. Julia stepped forward next. 7 years ago, you took everything from me. Today, I get to watch justice finally arrive. How's that for family values? Outside the courthouse, reporters gathered as Olive was fitted with her ankle monitor. Her church friends hurried past, avoiding cameras. Detective Moises approached with news. The pawn shop recovered most of the jewellery. It's being returned to all victims. Faith appeared with more updates. The gaming setup's been sold. Money's going to restitution. Oh, and Caesar's Twitch channel? Permanently banned for terms of service violations. Where is Caesar? I asked. Moving back in with Mommy, Zoe said, joining us. Since he can't afford rent without your income. Hope his room still has space for his gaming dreams. My phone buzzed. A message from Gus. Family meeting at Olive's tonight? Without Olive. We're all ready to talk about what really happened these past 15 years. Another text came through. This one from Julia. Thank you. You didn't just get justice for yourself. You got it for all of us. I looked at the group of women around me. Faith with her investigative skills, Zoe with her unwavering support, Julia and the others with their shared strength. This was a real family. Ms. Ella, a court clerk approached. Your car title and property documents are ready, and this was recovered from Mrs. Olive's safety deposit box. She handed me my grandmother's emerald necklace. The stones caught the sunlight, strong and brilliant, just like the women wearing them should be. One last thing, Faith said, showing me her tablet. Remember that Reddit post about your story? It's helping other women recognize similar patterns in their own families. You've started something bigger than Sunday dinner drama. I fastened my grandmother's necklace, feeling its familiar weight. Ready to go? Zoe asked. Almost. I turned to face the courthouse one last time. Olive stood with her lawyer, watching me. I smiled and waved, touching the emerald necklace deliberately. Her face twisted with rage, but there was nothing she could do. No more manipulation. No more stolen cars or jewellery. No more family values used as weapons. Now I'm ready, I said. We walked to my new car, bought with my own money, titled in my own name. The emeralds caught the light again, reminding me of my grandmother's words. For your future, dear. For when you need strength. I hadn't just found strength. I'd found justice, truth, and a real family built on respect, not control. Where to? Faith asked. First, the bank. I'm closing that joint account. Then, anywhere we want. We've got a lot of Sunday dinners to remake. As we drove away, I glimpsed Olive in my rearview mirror, standing alone on the courthouse steps. She looked small now, powerless without her web of lies. I didn't want revenge. I wanted consequences. And karma had delivered a feast.